I wanted to elaborate, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that my only credentials for this is that I'm a gamer. So just heads up on that. Just a quick tip for parents before I start is if your kid is a gamer and they have a microphone, I would encourage you to consider giving them a nickname that you call them when you are trying to get their attention while they're playing the game, but also that they tell people online. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, this is my name instead of their real name. You know what I mean? Just to give them some form of anonymity. Like, I know a lot of the kids that I play with, I went up repeatedly telling them, like, listen, kid, do not tell me what state you live in. I need you to not tell me any identifiable information about you. And they're like, yeah, but you know, like, I trust you. And I'm like, bro, no. And then like, no. He's like, you see, a kidnapper would never fight me on this. But that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. These little kids, they always have an answer for everything. But you gotta stay firm of like, listen. I know that what I'm saying is probably things a kidnapper would never say, but I need you to still use me as practice, okay? And then, like, at that point, it kind of led to another conversation of, like, yeah, one time, this guy online was like, hey, kid, tell me what state you live in. And then I was like, I'm not telling you that. And then the guy was like, oh, why not? And then, like, you know what I mean? And the kid just kept going with the story. And then I wound up like using that as an opportunity to go over safety protocols again with him, right? And so I do get frustrated. Because not like with the nickname thing. I did tell one of the little girls like never give it like so okay, so we gotta all have nicknames, okay? Never use real name. And then one of the little girls is like, yeah, so my nickname is this. And then Nenny told me never to tell anybody what my real name is. But my real name is, and then I'm like, she's about to say, and I'm like, no, just screaming on the mic, and I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be patient. I'm like, just screaming into the mic, just so that her name cannot go out, and I'm just like, and then she's like, but I probably shouldn't have said my real name, right? So it's gonna just please be aware, be patient with them. They are learning. They are little beautiful little learning machines full of chaos and neuroplasticity. They will learn. They would just remind yourself. I need you to just be patient with these kids and remind yourself. Just be like, you know what? Let him cook. Let him cook. Like, because of the fact that when I tell myself, you know what, this kid right now is very dysregulated in the game. They're screaming. I'm like, hey kid, right now, I understand you're mad, but I need you to scream in a different direction. I can put you in the other voice chat. You can go in the other voice chat and scream. Or even I can just take myself. I'm gonna go take myself to the other voice chat actually. And then they're like, no, don't leave. And I'm like, no, you need to let out your feelings. Let out your feelings. But guess what? I need to also protect my head. I'm overwhelmed right now. I need a timeout, okay? And I'm not responsible for you, but I will say this before I go to you. This does not mean I hate you, nothing. It just means that I have a headache and I need to just go to, I just need to go to the other voice channel for a little bit so I can focus, okay? Because this game is very stressful. And then they usually calm themselves down. And then when they do calm themselves down, I'm like, hey, are you okay? Because I understand that you were still upset. Like I know how you are. You wouldn't blow up unless you had a trigger. And then they would start explaining the trigger. Boom, boom, boom. And then they would be able to finally start processing what was bothering them in the first place. And at that point, how I react to them processing definitely winds up setting them up for the next time that they wind up encountering that same situation. Because they're us playing a video game where it's highly competitive and, you know, people are like shooting at us and, you know, we're competing for a thing and we're getting clipped because there's a concept of not only are you getting eliminated in these games, people will film it and then post it online, which is something I do. So I'm a horrible offender of this. I will eliminate people, post it online. And then it's just like, oh yeah, I was trash talking while I was doing that. Oh well, and it's just kind of like you also got to take in time and like take into account like, hey, we're gonna get defeated as well. We're gonna get defeated, But we're gonna also do the defeating of the people. So we're gonna have to take time to just make sure that we don't defeat ourselves while we're doing it in the process. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be toxic to your teammates, but you know, you're gonna be human. You're gonna feel stress, and there's a huge difference between toxic stress and eustress, right? With toxic stress, it piles up. It just doesn't get resolved. Your processing is still turning the same tired, rusted cogs, and you're not getting anywhere, and it hurts. So I get why the kids scream. I get why they get like mad. I get why they start swearing and then just doing eagle noise, the eagle screeches in the mic. I get it. I get it. But sometimes we need to take time to stop and look for the oil. You know what I mean? Like, how can we make this go smoother? And oftentimes it's through communication and actually letting the feelings out, actually talking about it. Instead of just being like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? See, this is why no one plays with you. Like, no. Like, that's just gonna make that kid feel like shit about themselves. And if they ever need to be vulnerable, or they ever need to share any high level information that their brain cannot comprehend, they're not gonna go to your brain because you've proven that you can't comprehend them. And I know this because I have had a lot of times where gamers, not just kids, but adults too, have come up to me, to my lobby, instead of going to a therapist office, instead of going to their loved ones, instead of going to their friends, instead of going to other people, and they tell me, can I talk to you? And when I say, yeah, what's up? They're like, they just let out the most vulnerable parts about themselves, like things that are so heavy to process. And then I'm like, can I ask you a question? And they're like, yeah, what's up? And the number one thing I always ask them is, why me? Why, out of everybody that you could have been this vulnerable with, why'd you choose me? And they tell me, because I feel like you would understand. The amount of people that I've helped in my life, I've consistently tried to make myself ask that question. Why me? And that has consistently always been a unifying answer, which is that they feel like I will understand, that I'm not going to judge them, that I'm actually going to take time to sit with them and help them process those feelings. And a lot of times, it's not just kids that need these type of interactions, it's adults too. So in learning how to have empathy for these children as they're going through the heavy emotions, we're learning how to have empathy for ourselves and our other fellow adults while they process their heavy emotions. Especially in a time like this, with a higher level of neurodivergent people, like understanding themselves and reparenting themselves, this is the time that we need to understand how kids are, how they feel, how they function, so that we can better have blueprints for how we handle ourselves. Because the world that we grew up in would always say, you know, we didn't have instruction manuals for how to raise you, but we do have our pain. We do have our lessons. And we do have ourselves. And we have these new kids that we interact with on the day-to-day. And we see them grow. And we see them learn. And we see them stumble and fall and be fucking annoying. Be so annoying. But in having patience with them and being able to understand them, they wind up teaching me. They wind up teaching me how to teach them. And that is what's so important. That is human connection. Instead of me being like, no, you have to do this, I connect with them first. Then I let them know what needs to be done. If there is no connection, it's just going to feel like a lot more fucking external energy that does not belong to you imposing itself into you. And you don't want that. No one wants that. Not kids, not adults. So taking time to actually make that connection and be patient and make rules and boundaries based off of understanding, that is where you can get change from. That is where you can turn that stress into eustress. And even if that stress started off as toxic, you can still transmute it into something that we can grow from.